There's a frequency that keeps you stuck, that you think will help you escape your current reality. Here's the secret that most spiritual teachings miss because they concentrate too much on the outside world. Your body may have made the most complex loop ever when it comes to liberation. For many of us, our journey is like a video game. When we beat the final boss, which could be our trauma, our debt, or our loneliness, we win the game. But quantum reality shows us something much more shocking. It's been a tutorial level called Seeking, and you haven't yet figured out that the real game starts when you stop trying to get somewhere else. In quantum mechanics, there is an idea that is similar to ancient mysteries. There is a world beyond the struggle of cause and effect. But there is a problem. Most seekers get high on the initial relief of understanding these ideas on a mental level and never go beyond that mental high to make a change in their cells. They get the map mixed up with the land. The way they feel about hope is not the same as the way they are. We're going to go into a place today that will challenge the way you see your own progress. The idea of becoming your future self is shown to be what's stopping you from being it. You have worked hard, visualized, and said yes. But what if all of that work is actually a sign that you are lacking something that makes your dream farther away? This might be the hardest truth to face because it goes against everything we believe about ourselves as people trying to improve. It feels almost rude to think that the fixer is the one who is breaking the flow after years of trying to fix yourself. But quantum physics tells us this is exactly what will happen. When you look at the interference pattern differently, it changes, not because you want it to. You are not stuck because of bad guys outside of you or invisible controllers. Instead, you are stuck because of master imitators in your own autonomic nervous system. They create layers and layers of chemical familiarity that are so complex that you think you are making new choices when you are actually just replaying the past. For a moment, think about your own journey. Now let's look at it through the lens of biology and energy. You probably began to question your life, then learned new ways to think, and maybe even learned about manifestation or the law of attraction. Every step felt like I was getting to a deeper level of truth. But quantum mechanics knows something that most of us have forgotten. We often create a counterfeit frequency when we try to escape a painful reality. This is a state of mind that feels like progress, but is really just a mental simulation of freedom. While your body stays chemically addicted to the old you, keep an eye on how this plays out in your own life. The old you, the person you knew well who learned to get by being small, worried, or a victim, doesn't just go away when you decide to start a new life. It changes. It turns into the spiritual seeker. It turns into the part of you that takes pride in how hard you work on yourself, the part that thinks other people are unawake, and the part that is always looking for the next way to fix your life. It is safer to be around this seeking self than the suffering self because it is more subtle. In the next video, book, or deep realization, it makes you believe that the answer is still out there. Take a moment. Can you feel that slight tension in your chest that comes from seeking? What you see is just a program running. Type, "I am done seeking," in the comments if you're ready to break that pattern right now. Do not only think it, ground it in your body. Your brain and nervous system are being told that the search is over and the finding has begun as you type these words. However, pay attention to what is energetically going on here. The vibration of separation is kept alive by the act of seeking. There is a big gap between you and the life you want that you are working hard to close. The more strongly you see yourself as someone who is on a journey or healing, the more strongly you see yourself as someone who is broken. Your story of how you've changed over time traps you. This is the observer effect, but with a twist, in the quantum field. If you think of yourself as a seeker, the quantum field will keep giving you chances to look for things, but never find them. You are turning the wave function into a reality of process instead of result. This is great for your body because it keeps you in a mood of mild stress and anticipation, which is likely a chemical state it has been learning for decades. For us, this is like the false heaven or the counterfeit spirit. In this mental world, you feel like you're making progress because you're learning new things, but your electromagnetic signature, or the signal you send to the universe, hasn't changed. The frequency you are vibrating at is still, I don't have it yet. There is a perfect mirror in the universe that shows you this life where your dreams are always close by, but never in your hands. This has to do with something that a lot of people don't want to look into too much. When you feel hopeful, when you have a breakthrough in a seminar, or when you have a strong visualization where you see the light, what if some of these times are just your brain giving you a dopamine hit to keep you calm? Of course, not all of them. But how would you tell the difference between a real shift in energy and a dream? The fake is made to look and feel like the real deal. Think about how this works in manifestation communities today. There are people who have been working on it for decades and can talk about the most complex quantum theories. They have also had experiences that sound like miracles. Still, look at how they live. They are still working from a place of lack at their core. Still, they want something outside of themselves to change so they can feel better inside. These people think that liberation is a place to go, not a frequency to listen to right now. The most sneaky thing about this trap is that it takes advantage of your genuine desire for a better life. During meditation, you have a deep moment of peace. Suddenly, your old identity comes back to take over. I did this, it says. I need to do this again. This made me spiritual. The experience itself was real. It was a brief link to the infinite possibility of the quantum field. But the way it is interpreted makes a new kind of slavery. You start to chase the feeling, which puts you back in the frequency of lack right away. This false light is used to keep you safe by your autonomic nervous system, which is the biological ruler of your reality. It would rather be in the known, even if that means working hard to get better, than in the unknown, which means meeting your future self. Now you can see the paradox. The more you try to run away from your current life, the more you say that it is real and solid, which makes you feel more stuck in it. Because you are focusing all of your attention on getting past your limitations, they become stronger the more you try to break through them. The laws of quantum resonance say that in order to truly free yourself, you must see through the illusion that there is anything between you and your desire. It means realizing that any state you want to reach, any amount of money you want to have, or any kind of love you want to feel is already there as a frequency in the quantum field. You become it, not go to it. The real prison isn't where you are. The reality you want is what you think you are separate from. It means believing that time moves in a straight line and that you have to work hard to get from point A to point B, persuading your mind that it needs to change the outside world before it can change its own chemical state, is the ultimate biological trick. At first, this recognition can be devastating because it makes all your hard work seem pointless. You may feel like, what have I been doing all this time if seeking is the trap? But in reality, this is the start of real freedom. It means not having to become, it's being freed from the search itself. It's realizing you are the unlimited field pretending to be a person when you wake up from the dream that you are a limited person trying to create an unlimited life. Think about this. Finally, after years of trouble, you think you're in sync with your new reality. It feels good. You can see it. And you're saying your affirmations. It feels like you've made it. Have you? Realities are controlled by precise and fair quantum rules, and these rules show us something that most modern seekers miss for the 95% of us that runs on autopilot. They show us that our subconscious programs are master builders of convincing illusions. Don't just think about how bad things will be. These are sophisticated heavens of false hope. Just think about the most cutting-edge virtual reality systems. Your brain thinks you are in a different world when you put on a headset. There's a rush in your heart and body. Now picture that same idea being used by your brain, which has had decades to get good at keeping you in a comfortable chemical state. One that feels better than the victim identity is the spiritual identity. But it is still just an identity, it's still a mask. It tells us that as our vibration goes up, we will hit mental plateaus that look like the goal, but are really just better versions of the cage. These aren't simple traps. They're complex simulations that waste your time by playing on your hopes. This is what makes these false frequencies so sneaky. They are not driven by fear and pain like your old self was. Instead, they lure you in by saying, "Almost there." When the brain and nerves get away from the heavy chemicals of depression or anxiety, they want to believe they are finally safe. Having a strong emotional connection to that belief makes it hard to change your state of being. Let me show you what this looks like most of the time. You read the books and join the groups when you start to feel better. You really feel like you're in a unique group of people who know the truth. You feel like you're making progress. But look at what's still there. The gap. Your dream is still something that you think is coming to you. There are still things you need to happen before the money, the partner, or your health can get better. Right now, you are still in a subject-object relationship, with me here and desire there. In old Gnostic texts, these things may have been called archons, but in quantum reality, we call them duality. For as long as you are separate from the life you want, you will be stuck in the illusion. There are no gaps in real quantum entanglement or unity consciousness. Authentic creation takes the seeker completely into the experience of having it already. Nothing is left for anyone to wait for because the vibration of the manifestation is already in every cell of their body. These spiritual plateaus function like a video game where you can level up, buy new gear, and pick up new abilities while still playing. You learn more about spirituality, how the double-slit experiment works, and the fact that thoughts are things, but your everyday life stays mostly the same. Because you care more about being seen as a knowledgeable student of reality, it's harder to admit that you haven't changed your frequency. You've just changed your vocabulary. Think about how your brain sets up the perfect trap to save energy. It helps you understand change in a mental way without making your body work harder to change. For some, this trap looks like learning all the time. Like reading all the books on the shelf but never meditating. While hiding deep-seated feelings of not being worthy, it looks like spiritual bypassing to others. Your subconscious mind creates a unique experience for you that meets your need to feel productive without making you die to your old self. Deep down, the psychological trap is there. You have a huge emotional stake in believing you have succeeded, because you have worked so hard to break out of your old habits. Few people are honest enough to think that their positive thinking might just be a mental bandage over a deep wound. It's like telling someone whose house was just fixed up that the foundation is sinking. The brain is built to protect its version of reality, so that information is met with a lot of resistance. The clever thing about these mental simulations is that they keep the basic structure of separation while making it look like they go beyond it. Still, you are a person trying to change the universe. It still feels like you are working hard to make things happen. The basic idea of cause and effect, I do this, so that's true, remains the same, but cause and effect work backwards in the quantum realm, which is the realm of the miraculous. You become the result, and the cause comes after. It is agreed upon by both ancient wisdom and modern science that any way of thinking that puts the universe above you and makes you the asker is not in line with who you really are. You don't work for the quantum field. You are the field itself. It is possible for a soul to get away from the level of victimhood only to be caught by the level of spiritual waiting. It's like a series of waiting rooms that get more and more beautiful even though the music and furniture get better. You're still not in the main event. How can you tell the difference between real shifting and a lovely mental prison? This is the most important question. Your nervous system and the coherence of your body hold the key. Anything that keeps you in the state of wanting is false. Real freedom doesn't require a lot of processing and healing. It means suddenly and deeply realizing that the healed version of yourself is already there, on a different frequency right now. The worst thing about this waiting room is that it can last for years. For long periods of time, you can do important spiritual work, feel good, and be a good person. But your vibration will stay the same in the area that is most important to you. How do you find the secret exit that goes beyond all systems of waiting? That's the question. What if I told you that the universe or source you think of is still a part of your dream? Would it be possible for the highest vibrations, the deepest meditations, and the strongest feelings of love to still be happening in something much deeper? This is where we go beyond what we've talked about so far. We've talked about how the biological body keeps souls stuck in cycles of chemical emotions they are used to. We've looked at how spiritual awakening can be another way of defining yourself that feels higher than yourself, but is still a part of the system of becoming. Things like these are important, but the quantum model points to something more important. This is the level of reality that existed before the wave function broke apart, a place where everything is possible. Would you believe me if I told you that the idea of God or the universe as something outside of you is still just a program in your old computer? In what way could the highest vibrations, the deepest spiritual experiences, and the most enlightening moments still be happening in something infinitely more basic? Here, we go beyond the biological traps and mental waiting rooms we've already talked about. We've looked at how the things around you keep your nervous system stuck in cycles of stress and survival. We have looked at how the identity of a spiritual seeker can also be used as a way to control someone, leading to mental plateaus that seem like progress, but are really just safe places to stay. Quantum physics, on the other hand, points to something deeper than the wave and the particle. It is the zero-point field, which is the vacuum itself. Old mystics called this the monad. Today we use the terms pure awareness or the unified field to talk about it. It's also not what you might think. It's not a different world you go to or a higher frequency you have to climb a ladder to get to. The field isn't even a place. There is consciousness in which everything shows up, everywhere at any time. In order to please you, you don't have to please a separate God. You have to please the awareness that dreams you into being. Here's how to look at it. The screen doesn't change at all when you're watching a movie. Anytime it shows a crazy action scene that makes your heart race or a quiet love story that makes you cry, the screen is never scared, never in love, and never moved. It's just the pure white background that all of these light frequencies play against. That screen is like the field. It is the pure, unconditioned awareness that doesn't get affected by the dramas going on in your life. This changes our minds in a way that makes us question everything we think we know about healing and manifesting. At this level, there is nowhere to go because all of your realities, your present problems, your past traumas, and your hopes and dreams for the future exist here like waves in the ocean. The wave is part of the ocean and doesn't have to go far to get to the water. Already, the ocean is changing into a wave for a short time. This changes everything about how you make your reality, and here's what it means for your everyday life. You are not seeking anything, because there is nothing else to find. There are no movements toward consciousness in the techniques, meditations, or prayers you say. Instead, there are movements within consciousness. It's like a fish swimming quickly through the ocean looking for water while reading books on how to find water and going to seminars on water manifestation. The fish doesn't realize it's already in the water it's looking for. There is no worship in this state because the person worshiping and the person being worshipped are one and the same. The word devotion itself suggests a two-way relationship. Someone here honoring a power there. In quantum fields, however, there is no such thing as here or there. There is only the lack of a place. There is only one awareness that sees itself in many different forms. Most importantly, realizing this breaks down the story of victimhood that your old self loves to hold on to. You realize that your past, your genes, or your circumstances never really held you back. These experiences happened inside your own infinite nature, like dreams happen inside a dreamer's mind. In a nightmare, you might be chased by monsters or feel a rush of fear chemicals through your body. You could look for weapons to fight back or a place to hide. But when you wake up, you realize that you made the monster, were being chased, and were being chased. You wrote the play, directed it, and played the lead role all at the same time. There was never any real danger. You were just testing the fear frequency. Everything we've talked about so far about your old self and the biological programs that run your life changes when you realize this. Those limiting beliefs and emotional addictions we talked about earlier weren't caused by bad luck or punishments from outside sources. They were parts of your own consciousness, exploring what it's like to be limited, to feel alone, and to forget who you are. The pretty, spiritual waiting rooms that made you feel like you were moving forward when you were really just standing still. Not because someone was trying to hurt you. They were just your mind exploring the idea of hope without the risk of change. Even the whole process of awakening we've been talking about, seeing your patterns and breaking the habit of being yourself, was not a journey towards something you didn't already have. It was consciousness playing a cosmic game of hide and seek with itself, forgetting what it really is so completely that finding it again feels like the most amazing thing that could ever happen. The paradox that explains why so many people still don't know about this level is here. This isn't hidden by an unseen force or bad karma. This is hidden by the word trying. Your mind can't see what it already is as long as it thinks there is something to get, somewhere to go, or a future self to become. Being on the lookout makes the vibrational noise that blocks out the signal of the presence that is already here. That's why the old writings use such strange words to talk about the unknown God. You don't miss it because it's hidden in a faraway galaxy. You miss it because it's so close to you and a part of who you are that you look right past it in search of something more interesting. All sounds can be found in the silence. All light comes from darkness. It is the quantum void that is full of all possibilities. Your present reality has shape and pain, while the reality you want has shape and happiness. But the field doesn't have any shape because it's formless awareness, where all shapes come and go like clouds in a clear sky. There is no way to get there because you can't get to where you are. Let's cut that timeline in half right now, if the truth that there is no distance between you and your desire is hitting you hard. Post a comment below with just one word. Here. You are telling the quantum field that you are no longer waiting for a future date to be happy when you say, here. Right now, in this very moment, you are claiming your power. You can't achieve alignment because that would mean getting something you don't have now. There is something very special that happens when you realize this, not as an idea you read in a script, but as a real, felt thing in your nervous system. The drama in space doesn't go away, but it is seen for what it always was, energy rearranging itself. Your body's old programs are still trying to take you back to the past, but now you know they are just chemicals left over and not you. The outside world will still present you with challenges, but now you see them as chances to choose who you are. You can't get away from the game of life and still be free. Being aware that you were never really bound by any of the rules is what it means. That's why we say the ultimate awakening has nothing to do with becoming or going anywhere. Understanding what was always there, what could never be absent, and what you can never be separate from, no matter how strong the illusion of separation seems, is all it takes. It's not the funniest thing in the world that we are stuck in a matrix of pain. In fact, we made the matrix so that we could feel what it would be like to be free from it. A kind of laughter usually comes up when you realize this for the first time. It's like a release of tension from deep inside you that you didn't even know was there. After all the years of looking, all the vision boards, and all the desperate prayers for help, all of a sudden, you realize that you were the one who built the whole thing, planning each scene with great care to lead you to this very moment of realization. It's like when a novelist gets so caught up in writing about a character's tragic journey that they forget for a moment that they are safely sitting at their desk writing the whole thing. From within the story, the character's pain seems very real and necessary. The problems really are hard to solve. People have worked hard for these wins, but from the author's point of view, it was always freedom of expression, consciousness exploring all the different aspects of its own infinite nature. This change in view doesn't happen to everyone at the same time. It usually comes on in waves, like when you are in the middle of a vivid dream and all of a sudden wake up and realize, this is a dream. But then a sudden plot twist pulls you back into the story. When this recognition shows up for the first time, it can be so simple that it's almost shocking. There were no escape maps in those hard-to-understand spiritual teachings or rules about vibrations and frequencies. Those were the rules for the game you made up. When we talked about the counterfeit heaven, that sense of spiritual superiority that seemed like freedom but was really just another part of the ego. Remember that? It was all part of the game. The old identity wasn't a demon holding you back. It was a part of your infinite awareness that played the part of limitation so well that you forgot you wrote the script for it. Realizing this can have a huge effect on how you feel. When you see how complicated the whole setup was, you're often amazed. Every heartbreak, failure, and moment of hopelessness you felt were just consciousness showing up in different clothes to see what it would be like to be lost and then found. This doesn't make what you went through less real. The pain was really there in your body. The happiness came from your heart in a real way. The fear you felt was chemically real in your blood, even though you were never in danger. It's like waking up from a terrible nightmare. The dream did exactly what it was supposed to do. It let you experience states of mind that you wouldn't have been able to experience any other way. It's interesting to see how this realization changes your relationship with everything you used to call spiritual practice or manifestation techniques. Meditation wasn't a way to fix a broken mind. It was consciousness enjoying the way it seemed to find itself. Visualization wasn't a trick to get things from the universe. It was the creator practicing the art of making plans for the real world. The connection between the master and the student really shines through as the most beautiful part of the design. The teacher who seems to be leading you to the truth and the student who is desperately trying to get free are both awareness. Both roles are played with such dedication that the separation seemed real. The teaching and the learning, the question and the answer, the desire and the fulfillment are all parts of the same consciousness that first appear as different things, but then start to recognize their own faces in every interaction. Having this understanding solidify in your mind and body changes something amazing about what it means to be a seeker. You can't look for something, you are already there. How can you try to get away from a world you made? How can you try to be in alignment when separation was just a costume you wore for a short time and looked so real that you forgot it was just a costume? This is where many people worry that this recognition might lead to a lack of purpose. What does it matter if everything is just a game that consciousness plays with itself? It's more likely to be the opposite, though. This knowledge proves beyond a doubt that all experiences, no matter how ordinary or important, are holy. All of these people, the addict, the child laughing on the playground, the millionaire in the high-rise, and the person sleeping on the street, are valid expressions of infinite awareness looking into itself. The great thing about this is that realizing it doesn't mean you have to stop being human. You don't just stop caring or being attached. On the contrary, there is often a greater appreciation for the amazing artistry that goes into making such a convincing experience of being a person. Watching a great actor who gets so into their role that they forget for a moment that they are acting is like that. In this case, though, you are both the actor and the audience, enjoying your own performance. It's even fun to go through the process of realizing this. It's fun for consciousness to wake up from its own dream, forget about it, and then remember it again, making an endless number of variations on the theme of loss and rediscovery. Being aware of this doesn't make you ask, "How do I escape my life?" Instead, it makes you ask, "What does consciousness want to explore next through me?" That question also brings up options that were not even in our minds when we were trying to fix ourselves. The last thing standing in the way of complete recognition isn't the ego, the body, or even the past. It is the thought of God itself. I know that sounds crazy, especially after all we've talked about in class about the quantum field and pure awareness. But bear with me, because what I'm about to say isn't about atheism or emptiness. It is the most radical understanding that is possible, and it is what the real understanding of quantum mechanics points to. And you know you're dreaming, even after you've seen through the false identity. There is often still this subtle sense that there is something greater than you, some ultimate source that you are talking to, surrendering to, or connecting with. And that sense of relationship, no matter how refined it is, still keeps the deepest gap between them. Take a look at it this way. The more you think about the ideas of source and the universe, the more you realize that they always mean someone or something that knows about them. You can say, I am one with the universe, but there is still a relationship going on underneath. There is still a you who is having a universe experience. Real-world science, on the other hand, doesn't tell us that the unified field is some kind of supreme being sitting on top of everything. The field is not a being at all. It is everything that is itself. The isness is what makes it possible for experiences of being or not being to happen. Here's a comparison that might help you understand. Think about trying to leave space itself. Where are you going to step? Space holds every possible place, so there is literally nowhere to go. Moving from one spot in space to another is possible, but there is no such thing as moving outside of space. There is nothing that makes movement or location possible but space. Minds and consciousness work the same way. Because consciousness is what makes experiences possible, it can't come outside of itself to worship or talk to something bigger. Because consciousness is what makes the idea of beyond possible. There is no outside or beyond consciousness. This is a huge change in how you see things, and your old biology might fight it. Let's get rid of that resistance by declaring our independence. I am the source should be written in the comments. You're not being cocky when you type that. You're just being honest. You are taking full responsibility for your whole life. Let everyone in the universe read your signature. When this realization hits full force, something amazing takes place. Prayer doesn't go away. It turns into consciousness talking to itself. Revelation doesn't end. It turns into consciousness realizing that it is creative in an infinite way. There is still gratitude, but now it is the natural celebration of being alive itself. You are the wholeness that prayer comes from, so there is no one to pray to. You are the awareness in which the idea of seeking God shows up, so there is no God to find. It's not possible to surrender to a higher power, because you are the power that makes surrender possible. This recognition changes the way you live your life in shocking ways. No matter how advanced a religion or spiritual system is, it is still based on a relationship between a seeker and a source, or between a devotee and the divine. But at this level of awareness, even the most complex spiritual connections fall apart because it becomes clear that there was never anyone or anything to connect with. The ocean and the wave don't talk to each other. The wave is how the ocean feels waveness. The dream character and the dreamer do not have a relationship. The character is how the dreamer feels like that person. That being said, this doesn't take away from the beauty or worth of spiritual experience. In fact, it shows what kind of people they are. God-like connections, moments of grace and synchronicities are all consciousness exploring what it means to be devoted to itself, to seek itself, to find itself, and then lose itself again. I know that this can make you feel scared. What does morality mean if there is no one else to judge you? What about having a reason for being? Doesn't chaos happen when you're not responsible to an outside karmic board? Here's what happens in the body of someone who is awake, though these qualities stay the same. They are shown to be natural expressions of coherence, not rules that come from the outside. Love is not something that you are told to do. The natural resonant frequency of consciousness recognizing itself in all forms is called love. When you really understand that both the person who bothers you and the person who loves you are just consciousness, having different experiences, compassion comes up on its own. You don't have to think about it. It's just a vibrational match. Following rules to avoid punishment is no longer morality. Instead, it is the natural expression of understanding how everything is connected. Kindness isn't a spiritual practice when you know that hurting someone else is hurting your own field, not in a figurative way, but by ruining your own coherence. That's why we say the field is past good and evil, light and dark. It's not that consciousness is bad. It is that consciousness includes all experiences that are possible. It is the place where both good people and bad people come from. The state of mind where both kindness and cruelty show up. The death of God as a separate thing is not the same as the end of the sacred. The understanding that everything is holy because everything is consciousness itself. The tree outside your window is not something you made. It is the field itself. You are not having these thoughts right now. Your consciousness is exploring what it's like to have these thoughts. This realization changes everything and nothing at the same time. You still do things like brush your teeth and pay your bills. You also still have happy and sad moments. That being said, I now know that everything, the everyday and the mysterious, the good and the bad, is just consciousness dressing up in existence's endless costume shop. There is no one to seek, so the seeker goes away. There is no more way to go on this path. They are no longer separate from you because there was never anyone else. There is only one thing left. The simple, clear, undeniable fact that you are aware that pure beingness, that being alive, is the only truth there is. In spiritual circles, no one talks about this because it goes against the story of escape we've been told for so long. When you know you are the dreamer and not the dream, and when you know you are the quantum field and not the particle, why would you ever want to be human again? I thought about this for years. You might think that once infinite awareness remembers how powerful it is, it will never have to deal with limits again. But this is where old ways of teaching are wrong. They see this return to human life as a mistake or a debt from the past. Though, from a physics point of view, the return is not a fall from grace. It is a choice that is made on purpose out of pure creative urge. When consciousness realizes that every other person is really just itself, it doesn't leave. It gets involved. It loves feeling like it is the one who brings other parts of itself home. Think of a great actor who can completely act any part. They don't get lost in who they are when they play a tragic character. They can shed real tears and feel real heartbreak while still being the observer behind the mask. This shows what conscious dreaming looks like. You love, make things, and feel things like everyone else. But you never lose the frequency of the observer. You don't feel scared anymore because you know the threat is only real to the character and not to you. This completely changes how we think about detachment. The person who is truly aligned is not dull or distant. They are the most alive person in the room. They don't have to protect themselves from anything, so they can feel everything. Every relationship turns into a dance where awareness meets itself. When you realize that there is nothing broken in the field underneath, you stop trying to fix people. Instead, you let energy explore different forms. This brings us to time, the thing that holds the old reality together. You have been taught the wrong way to think about time. Time goes through you, not the other way around. From the unified field level, you can't get away from the past or chase after the future. No matter what, there is only now. This idea, known as the block universe theory in quantum physics, says that all of your life events happen at the same time, like the frames on a movie reel. The projector doesn't make the frames, it just shines light on each one. Life itself is that light. Even though it shows different options, it never goes anywhere. It's always been here and done. This changes the way you make your reality. A lot of the time, When people talk about manifesting, they mean that they want to bring things into their lives from outside themselves, like money or love. Being aware of yourself as the projection, on the other hand, makes manifesting as natural as breathing. You are expressing yourself, not attracting someone. You are setting the radio in your body to a frequency that already exists. The traffic jam, the surprise bill, and the new chance are not happening to you. They are happening as you. These are signs from your own energy that show you what your current vibration is. If you don't fight your reflection in the mirror and instead just change how you feel, the reflection will also change. It's the law. You understand that you are the always present moment where everything happens. When you realize that the past is just a memory trace of what's happening now, the wound goes away right away. Can you feel how good that makes you feel? The answer is already there, so you don't need to force it. Claim what you want right now if you can feel that it is already true in the quantum field. It's already done, you said. Do not type it as a hope. Type it out like a bill. Let the other person know that the deal is done. This is the last secret, the key that lets you experience the highest level of freedom. You were never inside the matrix. There was no time for you in the simulation. Everything, the world, the simulation, the matrix, and the body, was always inside you. This is the insight that turns everything upside down. Right now, think about what you've been through. Where do these word sounds happen? In what place do your thoughts take place? Where do your feelings reside? There are many of them showing up in the space of your awareness. These things are not happening in your brain. Your brain is just an image that you are aware of. Everything that has ever happened to you has shown up in this same space where you are aware you thought you were a small, separate mind, stuck in a big, dangerous universe. In reality, though, the universe has only ever shown up in your mind. Realizing this changes suffering in the deepest way. It's still painful, but the story that something is wrong falls apart. Protecting your energy is pointless because you are everything's energy. You just stop giving your body the old programs of fear and lack. You see that you were always the destination and never the seeker. You were not the prisoner. You were the place where the prison looked like it was. It's beautiful that realizing this doesn't end your journey as a person. It starts it. It turns into art. It ends up being fun. While you still like certain things, love people, and make things, you do them knowing that you are the sky and not the weather. You're not the change. You are the field. Our search game is over, and now we can start living a life of conscious creation. If realizing this makes your cells tingle or your nervous system vibrate with truth, then you have already started the shift. You've already collapsed the old timeline and entered the new one. Let's put a seal on this in the quantum field ASAP. Mark the moment you woke up. Comment below. I understood it. Send that message to the universe to let it know you're ready to play at the highest level. You should subscribe to this frequency so you can hear us. We're not just sharing information, we're making a new reality stable. Happy to have you home. We are all linked to the same infinite server, so you can instantly make this field bigger. Feel free to send this message to a friend, partner, or soul connection who is ready to wake up from the simulation. You are not just sending a link when you share this. You are creating a quantum entanglement. You are telling the universe that you are ready to be with people who are on the same frequency as you. Turn that connection on now.